Welcome to blakestbanter, where one of us knows what the word banter means and the other two are just along for the ride. We have a special guest today. First round picking the 2022 MiLB draft, Gabriel Hughes. How you doing?
Very well. Happy to be here.
There you go. And then, of course, we have Isaac over there. Isaac, how you feeling?
How we doing? I'm good. Very good.
Yeah, I don't want to overshadow Isaac here, but yeah, Gabe Hughes and the Isaac Stevens.
Right.
Mr. Hughes, how you been this season? You've been consistent. You're in Hartford. And every inning, every outing you've had, just a great outing. How's it feeling?
It's been good. You spend long enough in Arizona rehabbing. It's just nice to get back into a season, get back with the team, get out of Arizona. So it's been really nice to be back here. Obviously, this is where my career had kind of taken a pause in 2023 when I had surgery. So it's nice to be back in Hartford. And it's been a great group of guys to be with. We're winning a lot. We're in first place, or if not first place, tied for first place right now. So it's just been really cool. It's been a fun first month of the season.
Yeah, Hartford's been the most fun team to watch out of all the orgs, and they're also the most winning one throughout the past couple of years. So you're part of a great team here. But let's go way back. Let's go back to your roots in Alaska. Do you know the last Alaskan player in the MiLB?
I do not. And
Okay.
I have to throw a disclaimer out there. I was born there. I did not grow up there.
Yes.
I grew up in Idaho. I'm from Idaho. So I was born there, moved out, I think, when I was 2. So I do not know, but I got to get that disclaimer out anytime someone asks about it, is that I grew up in Idaho.
Yeah, I was gonna get to the Idaho one next because you go to Gonzaga, which is kind of basically in Idaho. But
yeah,
of course, Kurt Schilling is the number one guy from Alaska, and the last guy in the MiLB from Alaska was 2019. So you're gonna make history here soon. Gonzaga. Why did you choose Gonzaga out of all the schools? I'm sure you had so many other schools calling you. I mean, the Northwest seems to be your home, but was anything else like you really liked about the school?
Yeah, so Gonzaga was actually the first and only school that ever offered me. And I went on a visit there my sophomore year of high school. I loved the small campus, the small school feel. I love the coaching staff. I love staying in the Northwest, and I love the academics. It's a academically driven college, so I was really excited about that, as were my parents. But I really like the small program feel and the idea that I was going to get a lot of opportunities there that I wouldn't have gotten elsewhere. So I went on one visit. I fell in love with it, and I have no regrets. I love my time there.
There you go. I'm sure your parents are happy you chose a good academic school to go play baseball.
Absolutely.
And then let's go to the draft day. We've seen recently all these prank calls. Did you get a prank call? Did your friend call you on draft night, or did you kind of already know?
Did not get a prank call. Okay. I had my phone on, and the only call I was answering was from my agent to see what was happening. So I did not get any prank calls, did not have anyone randomly call me. Afterwards, then my phone blew up. But no, before it was a pretty tranquil, if not nerve-wracking experience.
Yeah, because you went pretty early in the draft, let's be real. Did you know it was going to be the Rockies beforehand? Did you already have that agreement? Or
I did not. So that's kind of the magic of draft days. I thought I was going later and ended up 10th overall. So that's kind of the magic of the whole experience, but I was not expecting it going in.
Well, there you go. We're happy to have you. I'm glad the Rockies drafted you 10th overall. Let's start here. You go to Spokane, right? Of course, you go to Fresno for 1 or 2 starts, and you go to Spokane. Was it almost like a homecoming going back to Spokane?
Yeah, absolutely. I get out there at our fan event that we have before we start the season, and it's basically attached to my name, Gabriel Hughes from Gonzaga University. Gabriel Hughes pitched at Gonzaga University. Before every start, it was from Gonzaga University, Gabriel Hughes. So yeah, absolutely. It was a city that I played baseball in for 3 years up to that point. So that was my 4th straight spring playing baseball there. And absolutely, it felt like a homecoming. It felt like I've been here before. It was, I think, mid-40s for that very first game. I've been here before. I know what that's like. I can do that. So yeah, absolutely, it was like a homecoming.
So we always talk about Northwest League, and all of these guys we talk to, it's like a different world out there. It's cold. A lot of these guys are from Florida, from California. You go out there, you're used to it though, right? Like you go out there and you're pitching the 40-degree weather, and you're just like it's nothing.
Yeah, I mean it's not the first time I've done it. we had practices in college in January when we had to get on the field and had to have live at-bats before we start the season in February. And there would be 2 inches of snow on the field, and we still had to get it done. So, yeah, a lot of the guys were coming from, if not the South, then from the Caribbean, from Dominican, from Latin America. And so it was the first time they'd ever seen snow. So, yeah, it was a lot of other people's first time playing somewhere so cold, but that's just how I grew up. In Idaho, it was cold every spring. It was cold in Spokane every winter when we were having practices. So, yeah, it wasn't my first rodeo.
Oh, there you go. And then you're about to go to Albuquerque here soon, so it's going to go and flip around, and it's going to be really warm and dry.
Well, this first month in Hartford has been very rainy, so anything outside of rain is a welcome change.
It's like every other day you guys are playing a doubleheader. It's tough to keep up with. But
yes, it is.
Do you like those 7-inning games? I'm a big proponent of we need to just play 9-inning games. I know you guys probably don't want to play 9-inning games, but what are your thoughts on that?
It doesn't particularly change my world too much one way or the other. It is nice for those days because you know you're going to be there. 14 innings is still a long time, no matter which way you slice it. 18 innings is a lot in one day. So I don't really mind it. It gets through the games and it gets us through those so we don't have to make them up later in the year. So it doesn't particularly change my world too much.
There you go. Then let's get to the injury, right? You get this bad injury. What was the rehab process like, and how confident are you? Are you 100% fully back? Do you have fully confidence in that's in the past?
Yeah, so TJ is a long rehab process. It's pretty much an automatic 14 to 16 months before you're going to be back really in game. So I had surgery at the end of July 2023. So 12 to 13 months took me to August, September, and that was basically the beginning of the fall league. So I played October to November of 2024 in the fall league at about 13 to 14 months. And it's a long, arduous process. There's no really speeding it up. There are no shortcuts. It's really, you have to hit these milestones and nothing's going to make that go by any quicker. So it's really, you kind of have to learn to love that part of the journey and love how slow and how boring it feels like, knowing that there's going to be a payoff at the end. So now I'm able to go out. I was able to struggle in the fall league and come out this season having a better idea for how I want to pitch hitters, having a better idea how my stuff plays, and go out and get results. So I do feel like I'm much more confident now than I was in the fall league. I'm much more confident now than I was at the beginning of the season. So it's really just a self-perpetuating cycle, really, where it's a positive feedback loop. Every start feeds back into it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I do feel good. I'm ready to go. So yeah, it's really a never-ending process, but I feel good with where I'm at.
Yeah, now you're like 2 months into the season. Every start has been solid. I feel like 10 years ago, TJ was like this huge thing, but now it's like it's not really if you get TJ. It's more like if you're a pitcher, it's when you're going to get TJ in your career. So I think we're kind of numb to we kind of see them and like, oh, that guy's getting TJ. But it is really, you said 14 to 16 months. That's huge. And then we go to this season. Of course, you're fully healthy. You're back. What's the number one thing you're working on for this season?
I think the number one thing really is just staying consistent week in and week out. Not letting the highs be too high, not letting the lows be too low. Really just finding some way to stay in the middle and stay consistent, not letting how baseball is going to affect who I am off the field. Being someone different than being the same person day in and day out. Not letting whatever happens in baseball affect my mood so really just staying consistent week in and week out and being able to go out and give consistent results.
Yeah, we see that kind of like the mental aspect of the game. I think it's the biggest aspect that we don't really talk about. We talk about, exit velocities and all these stats, but you can't really put a stat to the mental fortitude or, how well they're going in their head. So got to see that you have a good head on your shoulders. I do have a question. I have a couple, a little non-baseball questions here. What's the Gabriel Hughes book club we got going on? It's on the rundown. I think Aaron put it there.
Yeah, Gabriel Hughes book club is whenever I have the opportunity, I try to push books. I try to recommend books. I try to get people to read. So I just recently, Ben McCabe asked if I wanted to read I Am Legend. And I was just finishing up Walter Isaacson's biography of Leonardo da Vinci. And he had finished it. So I'm going to, but the Gabriel Hughes book club is just I read a lot. I read a lot at the field. So people will ask me, "Oh, what are you reading?" As I have my Kindle right here, and I was just reading before we hopped on. So I'll be like, "What are you reading?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm reading this. You should try. Like, it's great if you like." So I just recommend books all the time, basically. So that is what the Gabriel Hughes Book Club is. It also extends to the Gabriel Hughes Movie Club because I am a huge movie lover. I love movies. So those are the two things that I try to recommend all the time are books and movies.
What movie are you what's the last movie that you watched?
I watched Memento this morning.
Oh, so you were like a movie guy. Like,
I'm a movie guy.
Okay.
I'm a
so
movie
it's like
guy.
so you don't do like TV shows, or is it strictly movies?
I'm trying to get into it. So this year I've seen a decent amount, but I've just been, especially since surgery, I've been more of a movie guy. So this year I'm really trying to round out my pop culture education with TV shows. So I'm currently making my way through Mad Men. That's the TV show on deck, as well as catching up with The Last of Us and Andor season 2.
Speaking of pop
season
culture,
2, Andor season 2.
Pop culture references. Big question around the internet these past couple of weeks. We might be a little late to it. 100 gorillas versus 1 human. I gotta get Gabriel Hughes' approach to this. What is your answer here?
Wait, say that again. It's 100 gorillas versus 1.
No, my bad. 1 gorilla versus 1 human.
Gorilla.
I think you know how that one goes.
Yeah. I gotta go 100 humans. Strength in numbers. I get that it's a gorilla, but strength in numbers. 100 people is a lot of people.
Yeah, I think like 10 people could do it, but just 10 guys that just want to go out there and do it.
That's where I gotta put my vote with that.
If you were to choose like 3 yard goats to go out there, and if you and 3 yard goats got one gorilla fight.
Number 1, Cole Carrig. Number 2, Connor Stain. Number 3, Victor Juarez.
There you go. I'm a Juarez.
Surprising. He's a big UFC guy, so I'm gonna go surprising Victor Juarez.
That's your. He's the one that like pitches out. He's the
correct.
Right now, yeah. Okay, we've noticed that in the piggyback. So you guys probably do a good little duo there.
He's my piggyback.
And then you won a couple pitchers of the weeks, and since you got a Lululemon gift card.
I did. Who said that?
It's on. Aaron put it on the rundown. I don't.
Yeah, I did. I'm assuming Jared Thomas also did, but yeah, I did. I wasn't expecting it, but it's appreciated.
Did you spend it? Yeah.
Did anything with it?
Not yet.
But I will.
Trust. I will.
Are you eyeing anything special?
No, I gotta. That's the kind of place I gotta go see in person. So next time I'm at a Lulu store, then I'm just gonna be taking notes and be like, okay, this is what I should get this.
I hear they have pretty good leggings, so that helps out.
Yeah, it's something odd reward. You came in number 10 in our preseason rankings, and I know I don't want to toot your horn too much. You're still going out there to play, and to be honest, I think after this couple of weeks, you've probably gone a little higher than that. Do you ever look at those rankings, or is that just like trash to you?
Not particularly. It doesn't affect how I go out and play. I'm still going to go out and go 100%. I'm still going to go out and give the best of my ability. So that doesn't change how I play, and I can't control it. All I can control is going out and executing pitches and doing my best to get results. So no, I don't particularly look nor allow them to dictate how I go about playing.
Yeah, we see kind of the two sides there. Some people don't like to look at them. Some people use them as motivation. So both healthy aspects to that. But I don't think we have any more questions for you. Isaac, do you have any more questions?
I have one question. So I was looking at your numbers, and this year your like ground ball rates are a lot higher. Is there like a game plan change, or is there like a pitch tweaking difference that has happened from this year prior to others? Or like, why are you getting so many ground balls this year is what I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say probably a large part of that is just knowing a better way to attack hitters. Instead of just going into the games and be like, okay, I'm going to pitch to my strengths. Instead, it's sitting down, coming up with a plan for each hitter, looking at advanced scouting reports and be like, okay, here's how I want to attack this guy, and then just executing that plan. That's probably what I would say the biggest reason is, but I've been very happy with the amount of ground balls I've told Jose Torres to be very ready every time he's out there shortstop. So no, I'd say it's probably just a combination of knowing my pitches better and executing them.
Yeah, I think I made a joke. You had like a lot of ground balls in one outing, and I told Aaron, I was like, well, if Jose Torres is behind you, I'd give up a lot of ground balls too, because that's an out every
Yeah. I think it was the first outing, and I'd come in after the second or third inning. Maybe it was some outing. I'd come in after the second or third. He was like, "Oh, you don't want to give me any ground balls," because he hadn't got any that day. And the next inning got 3 straight. So I like to keep him in practice.
There you go. And then best of luck for you in the future here. Thank you. Have you been on the pod before?
I was in spring training.
There you go. So you're now a family of the pod, no longer a friend of the pod. So there you
right.
go. Thank you so much for your time, and hopefully you go out there and ball out.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Have a good night, man.
You guys too.
Boom. And there you go. That was Gabriel Hughes. I'm proud of myself. I didn't implode like I did on the last one.
So carried that. Wow.
I was like looking at like the timing, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of going really quick here. And then I was like, well, I have like a couple weird questions in the end I can ask if I want to buff up the time. And then you came out here with a smart question, which made us look good. Shout out you.
Did my best Tyler impression.
There you go. Yeah, I was like, I didn't really prepare much for that interview. I was just like, at Alaska, I already know a bunch, but let's go ahead and just talk about the Rockies minor league system.
Yeah.
But you want to talk about some transactions first? We might have some big ones here.
Ooh, we might have some big ones. And how about some Ryan Rollison? What do we know about his call-up?
Ryan Rollison is, of course, the one that takes up all the headlines in the national media. Ryan Rollison, first-round pick back in the day, gets his call-up in the lefty. We said he was on call-up watch. And, of course, he gets the call-up because we had 3 straight games of – I was looking at – before the Sunday game, I was looking at the Fangraphs, like, reliever usage. And I was like, man, if Herman doesn't start well, we literally don't have pitchers to finish the game. And then they go out there and give – I think they – Rollison, I think they called up somebody else. So they did get some fresh arms. Molina, yes. So he's just a really good arm to have. Good depth. We need lefties, especially after we put Peralta back down to AAA. Do you have any more insight on Ryan Rollison?
Ryan Rollison? Well, ever since joining the bullpen, his stuff has translated very well. From being like maybe an average pitch sequencing to like a really good reliever pitch sequencing. And I'm really excited to see how his stuff will work out at Coors Field.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier when it's like, hey, go get 3 outs instead of, here, try to maneuver a lineup twice. It's a lot.
Right.
A lot less stress. So, and then let's go. We'll save the big one for last, right? Let's see. Let's go. Let's go to the rehabbers. I thought there was gonna be a couple more smaller ones, but there's not. Tovar, Freeman, and Shunk are all rehabbing in Albuquerque. Of course, you may be asking, why are they rehabbing in Albuquerque if Ryan Ritter is there? Why are we taking at-bats away from Ryan Ritter?
Yeah.
But yeah, what are we doing? That's the shortstop of the future. Anyways, I don't think I've ever seen 3 guys rehab at the same time on the same team.
Ooh, I don't know.
And like the same position group too. Like, it's really odd.
Yeah, how would you even play that? Freeman second, Tovar short, Shunk third.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess Shunk is a third.
Yeah,
that actually makes a lot of sense. But it's really odd seeing a whole infield because then they had Kershaw come up and rehab against them. So it was kind of like a impromptu MLB game.
Yeah, right.
Dude, Kershaw pitched in the ACL. And let's just say the ACL cats did not have a fun time. So I think it was like 6 perfect innings or something crazy. We'll get to the ACL a little later. But big news, Bud Black is gone. Isaac, what is your first, reaction here?
I mean, I'm not surprised or anything. I feel like if you're starting off, what is it, 7? I don't even know.
It's a lot of losses and a little wins. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just feel like it was inevitable that he was gonna get the firing. But once you do get a new face, you get new philosophies in at the managerial position. Nice things will happen, will follow in suit. I mean, I wish Bud the best. He did a great job. He led the Rockies to some great years, but there's just a time for new faces to come in, and now is that time for the Rockies and Bud Black.
Yeah, I mean, I think Warren Schaefer has aura. Or no.
Yeah.
Like he looks like he'd be a good manager. He passes the eye test. I mean, Bud did too. Bud looked like he'd be a good manager. And he was.
Yeah.
I don't want to take anything away from Bud. Bud was a great manager for the Padres, for us. I feel like we all kind of forget how good Bud Black. There's no manager that's going to make this team good. Let's just be real here. And it does kind of suck that he is kind of like the scapegoat a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, it was Mullins at first. Now it's Bud Black because things
Doesn't
are
deserve
worse.
it.
I mean, I think it's like, you know, you're worried about the AC on the Titanic. You're not really focused on the problem at hand. Like if you can fix the AC all you want, you know, the ship was going down still. And so I think a lot of Rockies share that like sentiment where it's like
Right.
same guys at the helm. I had some guy DM BSB and just like it was like an article from 2022, and he just linked us an article that was like Dick Monfort's son is in charge of the scouting. And it was like, yeah, we know that. We know. We sadly know. There's no like there's no commentary at all. It was just that link.
I should try that out with people.
That's pretty funny. And then I think Jordan Pacheco's the new hitting coach. I think he's been on a pod here, so that's fun. We have a friend of the pod on the Rockies staff.
Right. And our little blakestbanter.
Right?
What up?
Nick Wilson? Sorry.
Yeah, Nick Wilson, yeah. I don't know what that's about. I didn't hear anything about the hitting coach sitch.
I think Pacheco is up as the hitting coach.
Okay. And Nick Wilson is
something.
He'll
be a bench coach, maybe.
All right. Yeah.
BSB's been going through a rough stretch recently.
Yeah. End of the school year, it's rough out there for us. What are you seeing?
Drafted by the Rays in the 24th round in 2014. Yeah, I mean, I remember because I know I'm in like a Rockies group chat and they were saying they couldn't find anything on him either.
Right.
It's with no K. I know that.
Nick Wilson, yeah. He's tall. I think he's 6'6" or something obscure like that.
Can't teach that.
No, you can't. Okay. Should we segment into the minor league?
Minor league hitting coordinator.
Okay, minor league hitting coordinator. Is that what he was before, or is that what he is now? Okay.
They're called hitting coaches. That's just what the Rockies club information tweeted. Is they're interim hitting coaches. So we're not going crazy. They didn't say anything. They didn't give him an official position. But they're going to be in the dugout, so it's going to be like, yeah. It's cool because in baseball we watch these guys every day that like these faces in the dugout that are like assistant coaches, they become like familiar. And so we have some new faces, at least for most people. Pacheco's a face you recognize. Maybe not out in public, but in a dugout.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to Albuquerque. And
Albuquerque.
Of course, we did have some rehabbers down here in the Albuquerque land. Anybody you want to give a quick shout out to in Albuquerque?
In Albuquerque, yeah. Antoine Kelly, left-handed pitcher. We acquired him via waivers from the Texas Rangers, I believe, last season. He went down with an injury, wasn't his best stuff at the end of the season, missed the beginning of this season. But ever since joining Albuquerque, he's thrown 6 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts. Or I'm looking at the wrong thing. 6 innings pitched, 8. No, never mind. He has given up no runs. He's throwing 98 miles per hour. His slider's getting 2,600 revolutions per minute, which that's some more advanced baseball talk there. But he's nasty. He is a step up from a good Luis Peralta from the southpaw side of the mound.
Oh,
maybe.
I think Peralta's better, but I see the vision. We have a lot of these guys where it's like if they can just get it to click, like we could have
And if we're talking 2025 specifically, Luis Peralta has struggled pretty badly in Albuquerque. So
yeah. Well, to be fair, I like Peralta just because we traded like Beeks for him, so I think it'd be really fun. Because Beeks hit free agency. So
do you have anybody you want to talk about?
I mean, let's just go to Ryan Ritter, right? 2 bombs this week, and Look, I'm a little biased, right? Reinhardt is my guy. I jokingly told one of my friends, I was like, if this guy becomes really, really good, like an MVP candidate, my tweets are gonna look so smart. Like I'm gonna look so smart. It's probably not gonna happen. Like, I was just thinking to myself, like people would ask me for like the lottery numbers. But no, he's hitting bombs. He's not hitting for average. He's not really hitting for average, but you don't really need to if you're running into home runs. I do worry about the bat a little bit now because you're in Albuquerque. I kind of do want you hitting for a little bit of average, but if you're gonna hit a home run, every once a week, I'm completely fine with you hitting 250.
Yeah, I mean it's like the Joey Gallo. You're striking out a lot, but if you're getting those extra base hits, you aren't hurting the team as much as somebody striking out a lot and not getting as many extra base hits.
But
I don't hate it.
Yeah, we look at like the Tolia though, where it's like if you go dry though with that, like if you go through a cold stretch, it's bad. Like if you rely on like slugging, so it's like, but he does have the glove to fall back on. And fun fact, him and Amador, I said this in the BSB group chat, would make for a really good platoon at second base. I want to say one of them slams lefties and one of them slams righties. I don't know which one does, but one of those guys hits lefties bad, and one of those guys hits righties bad. And the opposite. So it'd be a great platoon situation, and both are great with the gloves. So that would be fun to watch.
Yeah,
let's just get him up
for
there
sure.
somehow, And then of course we have like a shot coming back. So he's blocked for the time being. And then of course Keston Hira gave us 2 bombs. So shout out Keston. A little bit of second base is what it's saying. So and then Fulford is back. And of course Sam Hilliard is, I think, the greatest player in Albuquerque Isotope history. Maybe
he's got to be. He's
outside. I think the Simpsons had a couple crazy players, but
Oh yeah, the Springville Isotopes before the rebrand.
Yeah. And then Sterling Thompson, I want to give a quick shout out to, struggling this year, but this week had a great week. Back to the hit tool. 6 hits this week, 1 double, 1 home run, 4 Ks with 2 walks to back that up with. It's a tough week. They're playing the Dodgers AAA, which is basically an MLB. So
they would beat the Rockies in a 7-game series.
They might, and I don't think that's a good joke. He probably would.
Right.
Do you want to go down to? Let's go down to Hartford. The fun one this week. Cole Herrig is just continuing to mash. The end of the week for him, he was hitting bombs left and right. Hit 3 home runs this week, Saturday, Sunday, and I think they had 2 rainouts again. So they had this doubleheader thing. Which
right.
I don't mind a doubleheader, but they've had multiple series this year where they've had multiple doubleheaders. And I feel like we're just shaving too many innings off of the series at that point. That's just my take on it. I don't have any power to change it, so it's just the way it's going to be. But like I said, 3 home runs this week, 4 hits, so he wasn't really hitting for that great of average. But it's a 1.4 OPS, so you don't care about average if you have a 1.4 OPS for the week. And then, of course, Zach Kokoska goes out there, hits a bomb. I want to say it's his first bomb of the year, and it's good to see Zach Kokoska finally go out there. And, he's been struggling hard this year.
Right.
Any other guys you got your eye on?
I'm probably the least prepared for Hartford, but I don't got much.
Yeah, I know. I mean, no worry about Benny Montgomery with another tough week, 0 for 11, but
right.
Yeah, I think Gabe Hughes is another solid out, and we just talked to him, and that's just kind of the way it is. Look real quick. I'm trying to put it's like not loading.
Duo.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to feel good about yourself, guys, watching this duo. Victor Juarez goes out there. His FIP is really good. It's like 2 something. It's not loading right now.
Yeah, striking guys out, not allowing walks, fielding independent pitching, all throughout.
Kyle Freeland has a really good, unrelated to anything we're talking about right now.
I was looking at that, which I'm shocked about. His I don't know if you know what it is, but like his like SIERA, skill-induced skill. Yeah. It's better than his 2018 campaign. So like by results, he should be outperforming himself in the 2018 season, but he has a 7 ERA. So every advanced stat is telling us that it's only going to go down from here. And Lewis is a big advocate for like law of averages. I don't know if this is into effect there, but Kyle Freeland's
Yeah,
going to
it
be
makes
good
sense.
again.
I mean, I would argue Senzatella like eats all the good luck that the Rockies have. Like every outing, he lets up a million hits and somehow only lets up like 3 runs. So if we can just turn the luck over to Freeland, we would have a couple really good outings.
All right.
Do you want to just go to Spokane?
Let's go to Spokane.
You're ready for it, right?
There's one guy I want to talk about specifically, and that's Aiden Longwell.
Yes.
This season, or like the last week, he had 360. He had 2 home runs. And for a guy, 2 home runs in one game, by the way, along with like a double, I'm pretty
The
sure.
Aiden Longwell game is what they called it.
Yeah, the Aiden Longwell game. And for a guy who's not expected to hit for power and is only going to be a contact discipline first player, the power is so encouraging and it's exciting. I'm not sure. If he can turn that power more consistently throughout the entire series, we're looking at a top 30 Rockies prospect. And I don't even think there's going to be a debate about that. What do you think?
No, I agree. I remember last time we talked about A. Longwell. Fangraphs had his hit tool at 30, and I was like, nah, that's wrong, guys. His hit tool is 50 plus at least because it's one of the best in the system. And when you're making contact like that, you're gonna run into a couple home runs just naturally. You know, as long as you're not like Luis Ariz, where the bat speed is just really, really slow, and you're kind of taking that away. You're just gonna run into home runs. That was Chuck. His whole thing was like, hey, I'm not going to swing at the fences, but if I can just make solid contact, if I go out and make quality contact, I'm going to just hit home runs because of that. That's just what's going to happen. It's not like I'm really trying to hit a home run here. It's more like if I make solid contact, sometimes if someone throws 100 and you make solid contact, it's probably going to be gone. Or it's going to go.
The ability to put the barrel on the ball is so essential to be a Major League Baseball player someday, and Aiden Longwell has had that skill ever since his collegiate days. And it's only sustained throughout the minor leagues. And now that he's doing it in high A, it's exciting. Really exciting.
Yeah, the MACtion, right? Anytime we have a player from the MAC, you just gotta always root for those guys. So
right.
Yeah. Jared Thomas continues his my bad. Not Jared Thomas. Braylon Wimmer. That's what I was trying to say. Braylon Wimmer. They were next to each other on the line. That's on me. Look, 9 hits this week, and Wimmer is a guy that we talked about a lot last year, but has kind of blossomed into a very good player this year. So, name to watch out for a potential call up to Hartford. I think he's ready for it. Jared Thomas though did have a solid week. You know, for his standards, not really a great week, but an 800 OPS in the Northwest League. That's not anything to really laugh at. Great week, by the way, for Spokane. I didn't watch any this week. The only week I really didn't watch any of anything. They look like they mashed this week.
Yeah.
Dog. So I don't watch a dog.
Saw Skylar Messenger hit out 2 home runs as well.
Elite name too.
Yeah, what is that about?
We have a couple of really good names in the system.
And on the pitching side, we had Connor Eaton. He had 2 starts, 11 innings pitched, 13 strikeouts, 1.64 ERA. And from the left side of the mound, lefty, he's a left-handed pitcher. He's done really well this season. And just another fun name to look out for. Only 22 years old. He's dicing up the high A players in the Northwest League.
Yeah, and you got to remember, like last year, Zach Agnos was in Spokane at this time. And looking at him now, he's my favorite reliever right now in baseball. I'm gonna just give you. I don't know if you saw my Slack message. You remember Willie MacGyver?
Willie MacGyver, yes. He's in.
Do you want to guess his OPS?
Now? Oakland.
Yeah.
Is it 700?
It's 1,034. I think it is. It's top 3 in all of the minor leagues.
Is it? For the
one of those guys I really wanted to get the call up last year, and I just want to throw that name out there. So shout out Willie MacGyver. It sucks that we let you go because you're breaking.
Right.
And another thing, I wish I planned for this. I wasn't busy today. Did you see Palma play second base?
No, I did not.
They had him play second.
Ronaker Palma is my favorite prospect. I should know that.
It was so funny. And it was just like the most random thing. I just like scrolling. I see like they're like Ronak Apama with a great double play ball or something like that.
What?
He was like fielding the thing at second down. So he can do it. He's an athlete. The glove is amazing. So
You're right.
what can't
It's
he
like-
do, Isaac? Tell me right now. Can he play pitch?
He can. I'm sure he has a mid to high 90s fastball with a wicked curveball. Gosh, all he needs is one chance, and he won't disappoint. At
No,
Dick Monfort.
in out of the park, he's like very solid. He's like
Is he
a really good
actually?
backup. Yeah, because his defensive stats are really good.
They know ball.
They do know ball. Yeah, they also say Drew Romo is going to be like a future Hall of Fame guy. So we'll see.
Okay.
Maybe they don't know ball. Any other pitching performances you want to leave here with?
Not on the top of my head, but Alan Perdomo, a reliever for Spokane. We picked him up in the free agency. He was with the Mets high A team last year, and this year he had 4 appearances this week. 2 ERA. Really solid outing, throwing 95 miles per hour. He could be a fun name to watch this season. See if he gets the call to Double-A sometime soon.
Yeah, and I want to throw out Michael Persecki.
Yeah.
The stats won't immediately pop out at you. He has yet to have a start where he wows you, but every single start, it's good. And he's going long, going 6 innings constantly. And we saw this week with the Rockies how important it is to have a pitcher, give the bullpen a little bit of a break. And
Right.
if you can go 6 innings of average baseball, you're probably gonna be in the MLB for a very good time. You're gonna
Right.
hit that 8-year threshold, and you get that little. Did you see the little golden ticket they get?
I did not.
They get, if you play 8 years, you get a essentially free tickets to any MLB game.
Is it 8 years or 10 years?
It's 8. I don't know why they have it at 8.
Okay.
But you get free tickets, you get 2 tickets, the best seats available for any MLB game that you want, forever. So it's something I'm now looking out for. Like once you hit 8 years, that sounds awesome.
So once you make your 8-year mark in the MLB, you'll be able to sit anywhere you want, Lewis.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're the real ball player here, though, Isaac. You're draft eligible this year, actually.
That's right, I am. This summer. Wait for my name, Isaac Stevens.
The Rays are gonna find another gem. Let's go down to single A, where a lot of your friends are here, Isaac. A lot of these DSL guys that you watch, and they're here. You got Hidalgo and Reyes had a good week. Hidalgo had a good week. Any guys you want to point out in particular?
I mean, Robert Kalaz is so back. This week he had a 348 average, 375 on base, 1 home run, 6 RBIs, 8 hits. He's playing the game right. He's hitting the ball hard, over 100 miles per hour. He's a player. You have anything to say about Robert Kalaz, Lewis?
The most fun prospect we have, bar
Sure.
none. Maybe Brody Brecht, but they're kind of the same mold of just power, basically.
Yeah.
I know the new Bowman cards came out. I don't know if you saw this, and I think Callis is one of those guys that got a new Bowman card. So if you guys want to invest, it's a good investment to invest in Robert Callis cards. Also, fun guy, seems like the coolest guy in the world. I don't know how to really word that in a baseball way, but he just seems like a fun guy to hang out with in a good way. Not who's the guy in the movie Moneyball that parties a lot?
Oh, Giambi's brother.
Yeah, Giambi. Not like Giambi's brother. I think was his brother on the Rockies? Jeremy Giambi?
Jeremy? I don't think he was.
I don't think so. Jason was though, right? At the end of his career.
Giambi was a solid pinch hitter. That's probably before I was born. I'm joking.
It was 11, so yeah. We were not old enough. I was not old enough to watch that. You definitely weren't.
Yeah. Okay.
I gotta shout out Tyler's guy. Big week for Tyler's guy. Tyler knows ball. If Tyler likes somebody, that guy probably is good at baseball. Blake Wright from Clemson, a little bit of an underslot guy in the 4th round, but 1,000 OPS this week, 4 hits. He's not really striking out a lot. He's walking 4 times this week. So just a guy to just keep your eye on. Really good depth for the middle infield, but if he can take a next step, he could be a little more than that. Kevin Fitzer looks great. Kelvin Hidalgo, that's your boy. 2 stolen bases this week. He's getting on base. He's mashing, striking out a little bit, but he's just going to hit these singles. And if you have speed on the base paths, those singles can be really dangerous.
Right. And Hidalgo's biggest calling card is all of last season he was pushing the ball to the opposite field, and he has big-time power that's untapped. And all of his hot streaks in Fresno was because of him pulling the ball to left field. And we've seen good results. And not even to mention that he's leading the entire system in stolen bases. He's a power and speed threat. And it's one of the more intriguing combos in the entire organization and maybe all professional baseball if we look at pure potential of what Kelvin Hidalgo can be.
Yeah, there's let me see if I can pull it up real quick. There's a player in the Kansas City system who's he has more stolen bases than hits. Let me look this up real quick. Is absurd the amount of stolen bases that this guy has.
Is he in the lower levels?
High A.
High A.
I want to say he's in the Midwest League. Not.
I could see him with my own eyes if I wanted to, right?
You could. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's double A. I posted it's Tommy Hawkey.
Okay.
Let's see. Maybe it's Chicago system. Cleveland system. He has 35 stolen bases.
Already?
1 stealing. He has 27 walks to 27 strikeouts. His slash line is 303, 461, and 364. This guy's awesome. And this guy, not a Rockies prospect. I don't know why I'm verging on this guy. Which round pick in 2023. But this guy's awesome. Is all I gotta say. And this is something I was looking at stolen bases. I was like, oh, Hidalgo's great. And then I was looking at the stats. I was like, wow, this guy is 3 times better than Hidalgo apparently. So I don't know. It's just, and then also there's another guy with 31 in the same league. So maybe it's the league.
Well, Kelvin Hidalgo has 17.
Yeah, the guy's 35.
So,
I thought Hidalgo was elite. I don't know. I don't know how he can be 35. He has more stolen bases than hits.
That's absurd.
Pitching
set Fresno?
Well, Sean Sullivan is yet to give up a run in baseball this year. So
yeah, with his complex start and Fresno start, he's been solid. Where do you think he's going to get assigned to next? Going back to Double-A, or is he getting that Triple-A?
Oh, I didn't think about Triple-A. I think Double-A. But I don't know who he would place. Unless you're looking at a Palmquist goes up. But I think they'd call up Blake Adams before Sullivan. You would have Blake Adams they kind of like Quezada is kind of up there right now in AAA. You'd rather your high prospect go in AA and sit there for a couple months.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially,
I agree with AA.
Yeah, you don't really want to be wasting bullets in AAA. But no, he's been great. The Wizard, Sean Sullivan, Fidel Yaloha has also been great this season. So I just want to give a quick shout out to Yaloha. I know his mom or his dad is a painter. Remember that from his draft night? Yeah, Yuyoa. I'm definitely saying it wrong. I'm uncultured, so
I think it's Ayua.
Ayua.
Oh, I don't know actually. Aloha.
Aloha. Yeah, we're just gonna go with whatever sounds right. Yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, look, killing it. 4.1 innings this week. No runners allowed to score. So yeah, and then this is the first week we get to talk about ACL, the full ACL season. They started off weird. They started off on a Sunday, which I thought was weird.
Yeah.
Charlie Condon is in the ACL. Isaac, tell me right now, rate his ACL stats or ACL performance 1 through 10.
For the ACL standards, it's got to be a 3 out of 10. But if we're considering that he missed a lot of time before the season to the injury recovery. He's seeing fresh pitching for the first time in a while outside of the organization. I'm gonna cut him some slack because it's hard coming back from an injury, right? And another thing, you don't know.
I have no clue.
Another thing with the complex league is that you're seeing a whole array of pitchers. There's no like consistent level because you see a lot of 17, 18-year-olds that are just coming back from the Dominican Summer League who they're facing American players for the first time. And then you see like MLB players in like coming back on rehab assignments. There's no true median. So like Charlie Condon, it could be like a lack of game plan, a lack of whatever, but he's striking out a lot. He's struggling to see the ball. It's nothing to worry about. He is coming off of an injury still.
Yeah, he had a double that was like a pop-up basically. That was like not really a double, but we'll take it. We'll take anything we can get at this point.
Right.
And then so Pipeline came out with their top 100 list, and it was one was Delano, of course, for us. We only have two top 100 guys. The second one is Condon. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, there's a reality where like in a couple months we don't have a single top 100 prospect because Dolan is going to graduate.
Right.
And Condon keeps struggling. Like they might just write him off like a Rockies prospect and be like, oh, it's over.
They had Zach Veen on the top 100 list while he was struggling for like those 2 years.
True.
And
but that's high school. So it's like
I mean, you're looking at one of the best collegiate hitters of all time. Charlie Condon's not just a scrub.
I did look at like historically who are like the greatest hitters of all time in college, and it's like I don't want to like bash those guys, but like Andrew Vaughn.
Did all of those guys have 70 grade power tools?
No, you're right. Yeah, they did it in different ways. And he's still, I mean, Condon's a big guy and he's still young. So, but if you were to like, be really pessimistic about the Rockies, there's a future where we just don't have a top 100 prospect. Maybe Carrick works his way in, or I think Karros is severely underrated in the national spotlight.
Ronaker Palma,
maybe Robert Dallas, maybe.
Oh. Do you want to take the wheels on this one?
I'll take the wheel, man. Wilder, Delise, Dallas. It's definitely not Dallas. It's probably Delise.
Let's go Delise.
Look, this guy, I couldn't even find how much he was signed for. Could you find that, or is it just not up? Maybe I'll DM him and be like, "Hey, man, how much did they get you for?" And he struggled his first year down there in the DSL, but I mean, ever since then. He killed it last year, and now he's in the ACL Complex League. First time getting to America, or he probably doesn't even speak English, so it's probably really tough for him from like a life standpoint to come up here. Right. And there's probably so much, and he's been our best player so far. His OPS is 1,000, not striking out a lot, 7 hits. He's got good on the base paths. He's going to be. I think he's playing a little bit of third base right now. Right. Just a guy to keep your eye on. He's only 18 years old. I'm going to have him really high in my BSV prospect rankings. Not crazy high, but like he'll be like top 20.
Something I like about Wilder Delise is that he has two completely different like hit tools as a switch hitter, or like batting profiles as a switch hitter. Like his right side, or let's start with his left side. The left side, he's like a slap hitter. He's going to get it in the gaps. He's going to hit singles for days, and just a good hit tool. But like on the right side, he looks more physically mature. He has a hard swing. He elevates the ball more. And we're looking at a power bat from the right side and like a contact first from the left side. And it's a different game plan for whatever way he's hitting.
It's
and I think that's really fun.
Unique guys. If you're a pitcher, it's tough to like game plan for. It's just like two different types of players there. I must say, like, we've been really critical of the Rockies recently. Their DSL teams have been very good, especially
it's one of the best in baseball. Yeah,
they always hit for a really high average. I was looking last year, like the DSL like leaders in terms of average. Which I know, like, no one likes average anymore. I still like to look at average. You don't want a low average. That looks bad. I know. Baseball wise, it doesn't really matter, but they always have a good hit tool. And we haven't really seen it shown in the MLB because we haven't I don't know. We just haven't really had these guys able to develop. But they get to stateside. I give them that. They don't just fall into prospect
Right.
obscurity. So Wilder DeLeese did lead the DSL last year in RBIs. So that's just a big name to watch out for. Just a guy that's going to put the bat on the ball. It's going to be fun to watch. Also, elite name as well. Elite name.
Love that
Wow.
name. Another name that I find fun in the ACL is Carlos Renzulo, and he's if I'm not mistaken, he's a 5'6". He's Venezuelan. He is a fun baseball player.
I'd say 5'8", but
he's 5'8". Okay, I'm wrong, but similar mold to Adrian Pinto, who was involved in the Raimel Tapia and Randall Grichuk trade in 2021. Was it 22? I don't know. But he has the potential to have like the discipline of Adael Amador and like Juan Brito before he was traded for Nolan Jones as like one of the better in the organization. And there's always a question if undersized players can play at a high level of baseball. But there's been a new drive in Major League Baseball where we're seeing shorter guys every single year. And I think Carlos Renzulo, if the Rockies develop carefully, can be one of those guys. Because this so far, he already has 4 walks, 0 strikeouts. He's not uncomfortable at the plate. He's taking advantage of those at bats. He's a fun player. He could be really solid. Do you know anything about Renzulo, Lewis?
Not anything else that everything was kind of what you just said there. I will say if we're gonna get the robot umps, I think shorter players wouldn't they like be better? Because like their strike zone is smaller, and I feel like human umps probably have given them a bigger strike zone than the robot would. Because I've always thought like, what if you get like a 5 foot just player, and he just like like hunches over the plate? Like it's gonna be tough to hit that spot, and that spot is gonna be down the middle. So maybe shorter because I know Judge's like strike zone is massive. Doesn't seem to affect him, but.
Like the graphic of Jose Altuve compared to Aaron Judge, it's like this to this.
Yeah,
for anybody watching the YouTube.
Yeah, Isaac gave really specific and on point like measurables for how big the strike zones are for each.
Yeah.
There's one other guy I really want to talk about. It's a pitcher. Do you want to guess what we're going to talk about?
Are we talking Angel Jimenez?
Sandy Ozuna.
Ozuna.
Ozuna from the Rockies, of course. Only pitched 3 innings because we're just kind of getting into it, but it was a clean 3 innings, only 1 hit allowed, 2 Ks. He's already thrown like upper 96, I think, with the fastball.
Yeah.
He's gonna need to probably develop a couple more pitches. I think is it a slider that he has currently?
I think so. It's like a slider curveball mix.
Yeah.
It's a breaking ball.
And then, so we don't really have a lot of these scouting reports suck for the DSL guys. You gotta do a lot of homework. Isaac likes to DM people.
I have a little bit of insight on Ozuna, and what I know from Ozuna is that he has a very downward steep fastball. And what Tyler really liked about Brody Brecht and LeBaron Johnson Jr. is that those 2 players have steep fastballs that play down and induce ground balls. They're not necessarily strikeout pitches, but with the higher velocities with Ozuna and the other 2 are throwing, it's going to be a tough at bat. It's a continual trend that the Rockies are showing, and Sandy Ozuna is a mold of a home-developed player from a DSL guy, which is fun.
That's like your feeding ground.
Yeah. I need to work on my endings. How I need to end my tidbits.
Yeah, I need to work on everything when I'm the lead guy. We need Aaron badly. Aaron got scratched, like we said, or just I don't know. Hopefully he's doing all right, but without Aaron, we fall apart, and we've shown it multiple times tonight. You want to go and talk about Angel Jimenez?
Yeah, I'm gonna group Angel Jimenez and Wardrow Fernandez together. There are 2 young players who have thrown upper 90s in their career. And when you have young players who are throwing at such high velocities, you have potential for a lot of strikeout stuff and a lot of bullpen prowess. like we saw with Carlos Estevez, we saw with Angel Chavilli, of two guys who aren't really like crazy known prospects, but they had the velocity and could execute their fastball and other secondaries to be big league relievers. And those are two, Wardrow Fernandez and Angel Jimenez are two guys we could see fit that same mold.
Yeah, I mean, relievers come out of nowhere. Like, there's never you don't go into the draft and go, this guy is going to be a good reliever. Like, that doesn't happen. Like, Felix Bautista made his MLB debut at age 29. So, and he ended up being one of the best relievers in baseball for that period.
He was drafted by the Miami Marlins and released, and then a couple years later got picked up by the Orioles.
So it's so tough to gauge who will be a good reliever. But if I can, hold up, brutal way for the Rockies to lose. I just saw how the Rockies lost.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, blew a 1-0 lead. Oh, shocker! It was just a double play. A double play with the first out being at third, and then bases loaded, 1 out, double play.
Ugly.
That's brutal.
Yikes.
Warren Schaefer. I'm sorry, man.
Is he on the hot seat now? 0 winning percentage.
Look, Warren Schaefer, I love you, but if you're here after this year, I actually will stop this BSB thing. I won't.
Heard it here first.
I will run 50 miles if Warren Schaefer gets extended after the season.
You should lower
last season I was gonna do I was gonna run 1 mile for every Rockies run, and I remember the opening night I started running at 11 when the game was still on because we gave up 16, so I had to run 16 miles the first night, and then I don't know if you remember that first week. That first week was brutal, so I did it for a week. Then I missed 2 days, and then we let up 10, 2 straight days, and I was 30 miles behind. I was all right, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
So if I did that over the weekend, that would have been 50 miles in the span of 3 days. So, yeah. I mean, I probably could have done it, but probably wouldn't have felt good.
All right. We have Drew Romo. He's making a rehab assignment. He's gonna be back in the AAA. Gonna make the MLB soon.
So wait, it's a rehab to AAA?
Huh? He has it's in the ACL.
Okay.
Rehab assignment. Yeah. So when guys start in the ACL, they're further away than. We're gonna
just throw random dudes in the ACL. They're just
they have a hat with names in
it. Yeah, injured guys who are 25 who just got drafted out of college, and then DSL guys who just
a lot of indie ball players signed for the first time to pro baseball. I love it so much. It's so bizarre, random. It's awesome.
I was watching the other day. I was just on my phone, and I saw the Mets were streaming an inter squad DSL game, and I was I wish the Rockies did this. I wish they streamed.
There are.
They stream them, the Rockies?
Yeah, I can send some to you.
No way.
There's a YouTube account that does it. I'll send them to you.
Is there is it just video, or is that it?
No, they record the games live.
No, but is it there's no graphics or anything? I'm assuming.
Oh no, it's just
yeah, I'm just making.
It's a crappy field view, but you can get a good idea of a guy by being. It takes.
How do you know who's at bat? How do you know who's up to bat?
You look at the lineup from that day and just start counting. It's not really efficient if you want to be fast, but you find all the guys, you see all the stuff you want to see. It just takes a long time.
I feel I would accidentally watch the wrong player. Be this guy has great power. And
it takes as much work as being a regular Rockies fan trying to enjoy a Rockies game. So
you gotta do homework though. And most of these prospects aren't gonna work out.
Yeah, I've not had any great success rate with DSL guys making the MLB yet.
When did you start doing it though? Do we have any guys in the way?
Wait, no, Juan Mejia. Juan Mejia was the first guy that I advocated for. But
felt bad. I didn't make a graphic for him.
No, you didn't? I'm upset that
he got caught up down. That's why. I thought he made a start, not a start, but I thought he played a little bit last year in the MLB. So I was like, oh, I thought he already had like 2 innings under his belt. And then they were like, I saw on the broadcast, it was like, oh, his first MLB action. I was like, thanks.
Crap.
Also, Mr. Allison. So that's
Okay. 0 for 2.
yeah.
Yikes.
I had a good run to start the year though.
All right.
Um,
Anything else you want to touch on?
no. I mean, we've kind of just for the last hour.
Yeah, sorry about
Listen,
that.
we went in there with no plan, so I'm glad that this at least ended up somewhat decent.
Right. I'm excited for the Aaron feedback.
Yeah. Well, last time me and you did it, I called a player fat by accident. And I sent it to Aaron, and he had fun with it. So.
Okay.
All right. Well, what does Aaron say at the end of these? Like, go Rocks and minor league affiliates.
Go Rocks. Woo!